the founder of the largest and most successful real estate community in the world. I don't want to force him to do something he doesn't want to do. It's your rules. I'm just
This guy, ladies and gentlemen, this is
it's your
a sales guy right here. You know what this technique is called? It's called going negative. All right, this is where Matt. This is how he gets all his sales closed. All right,
Hey, man.
and listen, if you don't
Hey,
know
man.
this, you got him. All right, if you don't know
I
this,
don't want
you
to.
got
I don't want to. Completely your ball, your court. You're either I'm in or I'm out. It's up to you.
Listen, man, I don't know. He's literally dropping the sauce right here live. Right here live, ladies and gentlemen. They don't even know what's going on here, Matt. They don't even know what's going on.
All of a sudden you're like, no, I want in. What do you mean? No, I want in. I want in.
No. What is it? Where do I sign?
Hold on,
How do I lock in these terms?
No. I'm not too busy. I got you. Yeah.
No. I'm definitely interested, man. I'd love to break some bread for sure. And I know that it's going to be a great opportunity to learn from the best, the man, the myth, the legend, Matt Riley. If you don't know, you do now.
I would just love to. I used the phrase "break bread" the other day with somebody completely outside. It's seeping in without even realizing it. It's the guy. I locked up mine and Jesse's deal that's in here on that Birmingham deal, that wholesale deal I locked up. And the guy said he's got some other properties, and then he's also kind of an investor himself. So he's like, I know of a couple other ones. And he's like, do you invest in Bessemer, Alabama? And he's like, I know a couple properties out there. I was like, for anything you bring me, if I can get it done, I'd love to break bread with you, And he's like, yeah, for sure. And he got all excited. So breaking bread just brings the world around.
We need to make that a shirt. Good morning, Bob.
Just a loaf of bread that is broken in half.
I love
it. Good morning, Bob.
Good morning. How's everyone doing?
I'll tell you what, Bob.
Fantastic.
I woke up this morning and I was in a mood, all right? I was in a mood. I was not feeling it. I slept in, didn't do the cardio this morning, but I got up, I walked, went to a restaurant, got some good food, and I turned it around. So I'm feeling better now. I'm feeling better.
Excellent. So are you tantalized now?
Tantalized. That's a new word for me. I don't know what that means.
Tantalized. Tantalized is to be excited about your desires. Yeah.
I guess you could say that, yeah.
You were tantalized yesterday by Felipe. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, that's more accurate. That's yes, that's a better use of the word tantalized for sure.
I don't know if it was Felipe, but it was the haircut. It was the haircut.
That was produced by Felipe, though. So you were tantalized by Felipe's abilities to give you that haircut.
He does have some abilities, man. He did a great job. I think he did a great job.
Yes, indeed. Good morning, Dan. Good morning, Paul.
Good morning.
Thank you, Simon. Appreciate you, Simon.
Sorry, John, I didn't mean to cut you off. You were going to say something?
Oh, no, don't worry about it. I'll let that one know.
Yeah, that's probably better off. It was going somewhere.
Yeah. Did it have a feather involved? Never mind.
I don't know about a feather.
How's everybody doing? Good morning, audience. Ricardo, Gridden, Omar the Great, Nailang, Jagger, Esme. Good morning, young lady. The Hurdle Brothers. I know Simon is in here. Good morning, sir. Good morning, Kishore. Good morning, John B. Supreme John, Lonnie, Fox. The whole gang is here. Good morning, all. How's your day going so far? It's a beautiful Tuesday. It's actually sunny today. It's going to be a warm day here in California.
How come they make your driver's license expire on your birthday? Why do they do that to you? Who wants to go to the DMV on their birthday if you are like me and you wait to the last second to get... I know.
That's the thing is like, and they're not really technically doing it to you.
I know.
You're technically...
Accountability is on me. I have no rhyme or reason to be mad at anybody else besides myself.
You're supposed to get it changed before the expiration date, Matt Riley.
Correct.
That's
Semantics there.
But I'm the last guy that should ever be talking about driver's license privileges. So I'm gonna shut up.
Dan was the first one to jump in on that conversation right there. You're a free man. That's why you're allowed to do it now.
Yeah. I'm like that guy that's like the righteous guy. You know what I mean? The guy that like gets, the guy that like gets off drugs. He's like sitting around. He's like, if you ever do drugs, you're a piece of shit.
You're a
you know what I mean? But like did drugs his whole entire life. That's me. I'm like drive safe. Like no speeding. You should never speed in your entire life. If you speed, you're an idiot.
Yeah, Dan.
You guys remember those commercials? Remember those commercials with the old lady who had a hole in her throat and was talking about don't smoke cigarettes?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that's because we know, Bob. That's because we fuck around and find out, as they like to say. You know what I mean? And we pay the price. We're trying to get you guys not to pay the price.
Yeah,
exactly.
Hey, lady, you spend 50 years smoking. Don't make a commercial telling. I get it, all right, but maybe you should have taken your own advice.
Or the John Wayne one after he died. You know, that one was hard.
Just
yeah, would it be crazy if like there's a twist in the story and like she didn't even get lung cancer from smoking? You know what I mean? Like that'd be like, what if she never smoked a cigarette? They were just like using her, you know what I mean, to get to do the thing.
She got in some sort of bad car accident or something.
Like she never really had the issue. It's just that she just happened to be a person with a trach, and then they just used her as like the commercial advocate.
You got a hole in your throat. You want to make $500 for that?
Yeah. She answered an ad on Facebook to come in for casting for that.
Yeah, it's kind of like Magic Johnson with HIV. No, I'm joking. That's
pretty close. Let's see here.
So what's everybody doing here today? We got 42 people in the audience. No questions, no hands raised, no nothing.
What should we talk about? What's going to be the topic of today's conversation?
I don't have anything. It was just going to be a Q&A today. So if we're not going to talk, I saw Esme was very active in the regular chat and inviting people to come over and bring their questions. There you go. Thank you, John. But I'd be more than happy to end it as quickly as possible and get busy with my work.
That's always, there you go.
Because, I love you guys. I love hanging out with you guys. But, 5-10 minute cooler walk talk. That's good. Let's get to work now.
Yeah, Bob's got deals to sell.
That's it.
Oh, will we be going?
Hey, John. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. All right, let's get this kicked off with some real estate questions here.
There you go, John. Thank you.
All right. So I have a question about how to use an option contract. Is that presented with a purchase agreement?
Okay, so whose option contract are you using? I don't know. The one that I use from Sub 2, it is a purchase agreement on its own.
Okay, well that's good to know. Yeah, I've been taking a look. Actually, I've looked at four different option contracts, like a couple from Keegley and then a separate one, but none of them that I'm looking at look like a purchase agreement.
Okay, so explain to me why you would use an option contract.
Sure. There's actually a couple instances. One is that there's a seller. We've already closed a deal. But he has another property. It's a landlocked property. It's there's a railroad going through. There's a railroad going through it, and the railroad had reached out to him previously to buy this land. And when he went to sell it, he found out that there was some issues with title. Took him about over a year to clear it, and then the railroad company disappeared. And I'm not sure. He's an older guy. He didn't know how to get back in contact with them, and so I wanted to contact the railroad company about this property, and first get it under an option contract.
Okay, what are you going to be doing with? So my question was, what are you going to be doing with the option contract? Why are you using an option contract?
To to be able to market the property.
Exactly. So you're not necessarily purchasing the property, right? You're putting it under contract so you have the right to market it and sell it in other places, right?
Correct. Yep.
Okay. So what do you need a purchase agreement for?
To actually buy the property.
So do you want to buy it yourself, or do you want to be able to market it to be able to sell it to others? That's the distinction that I'm trying to make.
Okay.
Okay. So if you're trying to buy it yourself, then you use a purchase agreement. You don't need an option contract. Okay. But if you want to have the ability, so for example, for us, okay, one of the main uses that we use on the option contract is when we know that there's no way we can buy it. Okay. The numbers don't make sense for us. Okay. But we might have buyers that would buy it at those numbers. So instead of us putting it under contract and then going and try to wholesale it to them, we'll just say, look, give us the option to market this property on your behalf. Okay. And most of the times we'll do it even non-exclusive. So they have the right and ability to go ahead and market it on their own at the same time. Now that can change. Again, everything is negotiable. You can make that exclusive. So they can't market it while you're marketing it. It's up to you. Okay. But then I have the opportunity now to take it with those numbers and try to sell it to my buyers. Okay. That's what I would use an option contract for.
So then, okay, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Okay, so my question was going to be, so yeah, I want to do the same thing. I'm not going to be closing on this property. I want to market it and possibly assign it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So that's why you would use an option contract. And again, I don't know which option contract you use, but we just put a small deposit down, okay, for the ability, EMD, for the ability to be able to option that contract, right? And then we can go and market it anywhere we want. Now, if you have it in your documents, for example, that says that you can market it on the MLS and they agree, okay, there you go. You can market it on the MLS now as well. You just need to be aware of the state laws. Most states will probably want you, the brokers in those states will want you to have the right to do that. Okay. And just having an option contract isn't necessarily going to be enough. You might need a power of attorney or something to that effect to be able to market it on the MLS. Okay. So you want to make sure that you have all of that lined up.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I'm taking a look at one of the agreements that I like the most. And this is an exclusive one. It says, let's see, upon buyer's decision to exercise this option, both parties agree to move forward with the necessary standard purchase and sales agreement. So it sounds like I would submit, if I use this contract, it sounds like I would submit a purchase and sales agreement with this.
Yeah, that's how it sounds to me too.
Okay.
I'm just not following through with the option portion of it then. Are you putting it on a contract, or are you just...
Because those two things are kind of mutually exclusive in terms of, if I want to purchase it, yeah, I wouldn't even do the option contract if it would also, I would just do a purchase agreement then at that point.
The purpose normally for an option contract, John, is to be able to market it to others besides investors. Because if they're investors, like your cash buyers, you just put it under contract and wholesale it to them. Okay? There's no reason for you to option it at that point. Okay? But the option contract normally gives you the ability to market it on Zillow, MLS and other places.
Yeah. Like I use option contracts when, like on a creative deal, if it doesn't work as a long-term rental or short-term, and it's probably only going to work as a wrap. Do I have wrap buyers? Yes, but I also want the ability to advertise this on the MLS for someone that might be looking for that type of situation as well. So mine has the ability to list on the MLS, and the listing agent, if it's on market, will list that for me as a wrap. So that's why I do option contracts on the creative side.
I'm curious to know why anybody would consider an option contract versus just getting it under contract and making the agreement assignable?
Go ahead, Bob.
I was just going to say to have a broader audience. It's basically it. To be able to market it to a larger market, okay, especially retail, okay. So if you can market it to retail buyers, you have the opportunity to sell it at a much higher price and therefore make more money than you would as a wholesale deal.
I do options on market as well because depending on what the situation is with the property, I'm not a big fan of locking up a property that I'm not 100% sure that I'm going to be able to get rid of. And so if it's on market and I do a purchase agreement and we agree on whatever those terms are, then it's going to go under contract on the MLS. That person now loses out on market time and showings and potential other offers and things like that. And then if I cannot fulfill my contract, I'll get out during my due diligence period, but now I've screwed that person over for 2 weeks, 30 days, whatever our period of time is. So I'll be honest and upfront and let them know why I'm doing the option contract. And then while I'm finding that exit strategy, they're still on the market. They're still able to do showings, field offers, do all of those things that they were able to do before. And then if I find my exit strategy, I can execute my option at that point. So I use it primarily for on-market properties for that situation.
And Bob, what John was saying, why not just use the purchase agreement? Because you can for what you mentioned about having the right to market on the MLS, you can just put that into the purchase agreement as well, right? That's what I have in my purchase agreement.
You can, but you got to be aware of the laws. Okay, some states, like I said, okay, how are you going to list it? Are you going to list it with a flat fee, or are you going to list it with an agent? And that agent's broker might have an issue, because do you have the right to market a property just because you have it under contract and your contract basically says that you can put it on the MLS? Some brokers, many brokers won't accept that. Some will. So if you found an agent and a broker that will accept that, great, move forward. Okay? But otherwise, they're not going to list it for you.
John, what's your exit?
I'm just telling you.
If the railroad is not interested, do you have another exit then at that point, or is that pretty much your only?
No, that really would be my only exit. Is a railroad company. I don't see who else would be interested in this property.
So then I don't see a reason to do a purchase agreement at that point. If you only have one exit, one shot, and one buyer at that, I wouldn't want to put it under a purchase agreement and get it under contract just to go market it to one person, one individual, or one company. I think an option is what makes the most sense at that point.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I just don't understand about the option. I know I understand about the option, right? It's giving you the option to purchase, but I guess you'd have to see this purchase or this option agreement. I guess my question is, do I submit that with the purchase agreement to the seller when I submit this option agreement? Basically, I want to say, hey, Mr. Seller, I don't know if I can sell this property. I may have I may be able to sell this property. I'm not sure. I don't want to give you, set your expectations that I will, especially he has a lawyer involved. So, if you want to give me the option, we can sign this. Like, do I submit a purchase agreement with that? Because that would exercise, if it goes through, that would exercise into a purchase agreement, right?
Do you have the ability to list terms and things on your option contract, or is there language involved in that option contract that has terms of what the terms are of that purchase if the option was to be executed?
No, I don't. Nope.
Mine has, I have the ability to put the terms in there of what the purchase would be if I were to execute the option. And then if I were to execute my option, then I would submit the purchase agreement at that point. But I'm not submitting a purchase agreement at the same time as I'm sending over my option contract, because my option contract already lays out what my terms are of what I would be doing if I were to execute that purchase agreement. And in your situation, again, if I had multiple exits on a property or on a deal, I'm putting that under a purchase agreement because worst comes to worst, I'll buy it, or at least I know it has multiple exits. So I have plenty of people who are going to buy this thing. But in your situation, you have one person, you have one company, and so you're not really scared that like other people are going to approach this guy and who's going to get to the one person first. So I think you're pretty safe with the option. It just sounds like maybe you need an option contract that where it lays out the terms of what you're actually going to be purchasing it for if you were to execute that option.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Okay. Yeah, guys, I appreciate the input there. That sounds like, yeah, what I need to do. And I think when I'm, listening to you guys also, what I'm thinking I need to do is I'm just going to get a lawyer to look over my option agreement instead of, finding these boilerplate agreements online.
Exactly.
And just get something that I'm confident in.
Yes.
That's the best way.
Yes. Finally.
I like hearing that.
It's just don't get me wrong. There are certain things, I guess, that you could go on whatever generic website and go search contracts for and stuff, and maybe get by in certain situations. Maybe a seller who's not very privy, who's not going to be using an attorney or whatever. But you guys, we're getting into legally binding contracts in real estate here, where there's title companies and attorneys and all of these third-party people that are a part of it. You have title recordings and you have sellers involved and whatever else is taking place. You do not want to use some bullshit document that was created in, wherever, off ChatGPT, whatever it is. Just go do yourself a service. Get an attorney. They probably already have the agreements drafted up for you that all you have to do is plug it in. Maybe they'll charge you for it. Maybe they won't, depending on your connections with attorneys. But that is 100%. Treat this like a business. You want your own documents. I get we have resources here, which are great, but eventually you want your own resources. Everybody's always saying, hey, can you send me your contract? Can you send me this? Can you send me? Go get your own. And we're not saying that in a way of like a selfish thing, but like, go get your own, go build your own relationships in your own network of people to go get those things yourself. And again, treat this like a business. Be serious about this enough to where you're going to go make a connection, go get your own contracts from a real reputable person and not some bullshit Google wherever you're getting it from. I think that's a great like light bulb moment that you just had right there.
All right. Appreciate you guys.
I didn't mean to yell at you.
Did you yell?
I thought, in this house, no, I did not.
Yeah.
This house, that didn't even break the first decibel level in this house. You could sleep through that one.
Simon, good morning.
Good morning. I think Taylor Larson was actually first with this question.
Okay, thank you. How's it going, Taylor?
Pretty good. I just typed into the chat too. I just finished that. But
that's yours. Okay.
Yeah. Tried to do as much of a quick summary as I could, but essentially, I just want to get your guys' thoughts and opinions on if there's a possibility on salvaging the deal that I have in front of me.
So, multi-unit quitclaim deed was falsely passed down in 2001. There.
Buyer committed to buy. They have to call seller themselves to buy it without the tenant contact the estate attorney.
So buyer is going to buy even if they don't get clear title?
Yeah, they never explained to me how they wanted to make that purchase, but they said they've done it in the past and that they'd be willing to make sure to sign documentation with me stating that I still get my assignment fee, and they would contact the seller themselves to try to work something out.
Get that in writing first before you have them talk to the seller.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Contacted a state attorney, explained that the seller will have to get their heirs to sign affidavit. I mean, have you explained that to the buyer, that this is what the estate attorney has said?
Yeah, both the title attorney and the estate attorney had said that.
To the buyer?
No. The seller is what I explained all that to. The buyer is pretty well versed. They already knew the steps of the process. The seller is a little bit disgruntled and doesn't want to jump through these hoops. Wanted a second opinion, so I got a second opinion for them, and they're trying to talk to their lawyer to see a third
Sounds
opinion.
like the seller wants to keep all of the money. Buyer's got to be really aware of what he's walking into there, because there's 4 heirs that sounds like could lay claim to that property.
Yep.
So sure, he could buy it, but if those heirs for whatever reason decide to cloud title or try and lay claim to it, or all of a sudden he's in a legal
Lawsuit.
battle for
Yeah.
random stuff, which could eat into all proceeds, right? So just make sure he's very aware of that.
Yeah, the buyer is aware of that. The buyer actually is good friends with the title attorney, and at the same time that I was informed of everything, the buyer is informed of everything.
How did it falsely get passed down? It got the seller did not actually have rights or claim to the house, and it was falsely passed down to him, and it should have went to the heirs.
Yeah, so there was a power of attorney from the son, and his mom actually passed 2 weeks prior to him signing down the quitclaim deed. So it was technically fraud. He didn't know it was. Neither did the notary say it was. The notaries actually passed too, so they can't.
Jesus.
Yeah.
What the? Get out of that deal. Everyone's dying.
Yeah.
Get out of there. Don't touch anything over there.
So yeah, I was just wondering if you guys thought it was salvageable. I don't have anything else in the pipeline right now. So it's like my only deal I'm focusing on. I have a couple of JV things, but yeah, no income from anything else right now. So
I mean, I'd have it in writing personally. I'd have it in writing at the closing table. I'd have it in writing 5 different ways to Sunday on your end if I'm moving forward on that.
Yeah. Have you? I mean, this is your only deal right now. Have you worked with this buyer before, or is this somebody that you just found after marketing this deal, or however you found this buyer?
it's a big buyer. Some of my other wholesaler investors have mentioned that they're legitimate, that they do lots of deals. The title company vouched for them, so they are a good, often purchasing buyer. But it's my first deal with them.
I mean, is the juice worth the squeeze? Possibly. I mean, with a 15K assignment, sure. It's got a lot of moving parts that I don't know. I don't know you personally, so I don't know if you have the knowledge to handle. So if you can get something that's concrete in writing that allows the buyer to remedy it, it's almost best maybe for you to remove yourself in that situation instead of you trying to figure it out.
Exactly.
And if the buyer, and you can verify that the buyer has done this in the past and that they're capable of it, and he has confidence and he's telling you, I'm willing to buy it with all of this stuff going on. And as long as you can get concrete signed documentation that says that he will compensate you, get it notarized, do whatever you have to do at that point.
Step aside.
And then let him do his thing, and then just collect your check, and then you get to go move on and go find other deals while he's dealing with this giant puddle of BS over here.
Yeah. Yep.
That's
exactly what I would
scare
do.
me.
Yeah, because I don't want to be a part of it either. In terms of, I don't want to
claims. Yeah.
I don't want any kind of meddling in there. I don't want anyone to blame me for anything. I want nothing to do with it. And if he has confidence that he can resolve it, and he's the buyer, and we got an agreement that you're going to pay me when you close on this thing, because who knows how long that'll take to close. Whatever the resolution is, it could take forever, or it could take 2 weeks.
Yep.
Who knows? And I don't want to be sitting in there dealing with that while I could be doing other things. So as long as I'm guaranteed my paycheck when it closes, see you later.
Which brings me to the other point, Taylor. If this is your only deal, and I know Dan and I harp on this all the time, you got to fill up your pipeline, my friend. Okay. Yep. There's no way that you can rely on this. This is the problem that it creates, Taylor. When you're only hoping on 1 or 2 deals and praying to God every night, please let it close. I hope the buyer comes through. I hope the seller doesn't do this or that. Okay, you're gonna make bad decisions, bad financial decisions. Okay, so but flip that. And if you have lots of deals, lots of leads, okay, in your pipeline that you're actively working every single day, okay, you're talking to people, you're creating leads, you're creating deals, you're working them, okay. If 1 or 2 or 10 of them even fall apart, okay, so what? You got another 100 that you can work on, okay. It, number one, keeps you motivated to keep going, okay. Keeps a positive attitude for you and in your life, okay. And me personally, I'm a believer in vibrations in the universe and things of that nature, and it attracts that to you, okay. So you're just going to keep getting better and better and more deals, okay. Don't ever rely on one deal; it'll kill you.
Yep. Burnout's real on both sides of the spectrum, whether you have 100 deals on your plate and you're burnt out, you have too much on your plate, and you can burn yourself out on one deal, because if it's the only deal in your pipeline,
absolutely,
you need this so bad, and you're going to exhaust everything you have into this one deal just for it to possibly not go through, and that alone can burn you out and just drain you in all sorts of capacity. So burnout is 100% possible on both sides, and if I'm going to get burned out, I want to get burned out on having too much in my pipeline and not enough in my pipeline. So you just gotta keep filling, man. You can't spend too much time on one deal, especially a deal with that many moving parts on it. If you've got a buyer lined up saying, I'll deal with all that for you and I'll pay you, let them do it and go get more deals.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
You got it. Okay, Simon, you want to give your spot up to Elisha and Joshua?
Now I'm ready now. I hope my sound quality is better. But does it still sound like I'm in the tunnel?
Pretty good.
Okay.
It sounds good. Let's go.
Yeah, perfect. My question is actually about inbound marketing. So do you run ads for like 10-day plus something? Haven't spent too much. It's like less than $500. Average cost is like $30 currently per lead. And I haven't even like optimized. I get like some individual ad creatives. Like I get some leads for like $9 or something. My problem is I get leads and I do like pre-qualify them. So it's like not just like it actually lead ads, the lead ad form on Facebook. And I ask like questions about all the 4 pillars. I actually have like 5 different questions. So I'm just not sure because I had like my caller try to call them. But it's been going on for a week. He was like trying to call them, reach them, texted them. There's like almost like no response. I'm just confused why the quality is so bad or what I'm doing actually wrong. It's like very difficult.
Dan, that's your expertise, but I'll be happy to answer that too.
What is my expertise? I'm sitting over here. I'm sorry. Me and Matt are over here throwing spitballs back and forth. Me and Matt are over here throwing spitballs back and forth in class, changing notes. What's the question?
So you guys are paying attention. Great. All right. No problem.
Bob's the teacher in class when he calls on you, and he's always like you're waiting for which person he's gonna call, and you're like, don't call.
I'll take out my ruler now.
Yeah, it sounds like if I got the gist of it, you're doing inbound, you're marketing, getting inbound leads, and for some reason, when you're reaching back out to those inbound leads that have come in, they're not responding to you in any of your outreach measures. Correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
So what are you doing? What are you doing for inbound leads? Facebook ads? Is that what you said?
Yeah, Facebook lead formats actually. I mean, I could like add an additional step so they can actually book like an appointment when they actually want to be called, but I'm not sure if that's a reason because from my understanding, I'm like qualifying them because it's like a rather long lead form actually, like 5 questions and then.
But what is the process of like when they so what do they do? They see an ad on Facebook and they put what into the ad? What do they put into the ad?
Well, it's the
let's start with this. What are they seeing, and then what are they putting on the ad? So, what are they seeing that's telling them? What do they think that they're filling out, and what are they putting in there?
So the ad copy is basically just to get like a cash offer and sell their house like fast, without a hassle, without like any fees and stuff. So when they click, actually, they fill out like the reason for wanting to sell, the property type, when they want to actually sell, like the timeline, if it's listed with an agent, what the property condition is, location, and the rest is like, I think like the additional fields is actually pulled from Facebook. It's like their full name, phone number, and email. I think that's like automatically populated from Facebook. So that's basically it.
So then what's the next step? When they fill out the form, what's the next step after that?
Next step is like confirmation. I sent them to my website. It's just like a thank you page. I didn't like implement a step where they can like book their own appointment, but it's just like a thank you page. It tells them like at the end of the lead form, you will get a call from this and this number, so they know it's that number. They will actually receive a call, and it's the same on the external side. So Facebook makes it like a requirement, so you have to like somehow add like an external page. Doesn't make too much sense because for me it seems like Amazon wants to keep the Facebook wants to keep the people on the platform, but so they actually land on like an external page. It's my site, exact same thing, just tells them you will receive a call shortly from this and this number.
Okay. So and then you reach out to them, you call them right away, like it comes into a CRM, like what does it do?
It comes into CRM. Yeah, I use high level as well. It just gets pulled in. I'm not calling them directly, but I have a guy who's calling them as soon as possible. Well, over like the weekend. Yeah.
They're just not answering.
Yeah, not answering, not getting back at all. I mean, he's like texting them when it's best to call them. There's not coming anything back, so it's like weird.
Like, is there, like, are you guys texting them through high level?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, and the messages are going through?
Yeah, message going through. It's like all.
Okay.
All
what's the follow-up process? Like, is there like a verification step-by-step process? Like, is there like a step-by-step to where like if they don't answer, they get a text message the same day? Like, are they getting multiple messages a day? Are they getting multiple calls a day? Are they getting a message every day for the first 5 days? Like, what's the route here?
Well, currently there's no automation. If you're referring to like automated.
No, I'm just saying it doesn't have to be automated.
Okay.
It's always it's best to automate it, but I'm saying like what is like your guy that's supposed to be reaching out to them? Like, what does his effort look like on getting them on the phone?
Well, he's calling them. So if you can't reach them, he's texting them usually. When's the best time to like jump on a quick call? I had like a few. I mean, it's just like 11 leads or something, and like 2 were actually getting back and texted them, "I'm available now," so he could reach to. But most of them they just don't answer, and he follows up usually if he tries to call them daily, like twice, like in the morning, and I think like at 5 p.m. whatever. And if he doesn't reach him, he texts them as well to just follow up when is the best time to.
What's the time frame from the time that they fill out that form to the time that they're getting that first phone call?
It's supposed to be.
Well, it depends. At the beginning, it was not like super consistent because it's like right around like 4th of July. But other than that, it's like same day. We try to call them as fast as possible.
Same day as in what though? Like 12 hours later? Like.
Well, I have like limited number of like leads, so it's like difficult to say. But I would say like an hour to 2 hours.
Okay.
Here's and I'll just show you a clip. And listen, I'm not pitching my product at all at the moment right now. I'm just gonna show you something to show you the best way of how it maybe should look. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the reason that I'm doing this is because we have a lot of stuff that like they don't answer on the first message. You know what I mean? Like they don't answer on the first phone call. They don't answer as soon as they come into the system, and it's like they pretty much get followed up with immediately. But let me try to find somebody here.
Hey,
so like
Simon, I'm not sure if you answered if you talked about this or not. Sorry, Dan.
Go ahead.
How, as soon as you guys get the leads, how quickly do you guys reply to it?
Well, like an hour, like 2 hours. But I'm thinking right now, maybe it makes sense to just like automate like a text message and send out a text message as soon as they come in. When is the best time to call you?
You just did like a confirmation text message, just hey, confirming that this is the phone number that you registered with, and then if they can respond to that, just to confirm.
There you go.
Now at least you have engagement that way.
So what I do in my system's taking a second to load, so I'm not going to show that just now, and I don't want to give too much away. But basically, like the way that I have this set up is so like you have like the lead that comes into the system, right? Like you have lead generation that comes into the system, and maybe I can even create I'll do like a whiteboard thing on here so you guys can see like exactly what I'm doing here, and I'll share my screen.
So while Dan's doing that, Simon, you have to realize these people who fill out these forms, they're not just filling out your form. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, that's how Facebook.
They're filling out a bunch of forms.
Yeah.
So whoever gets to them first normally wins.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was thinking.
So if you're waiting an hour, you've been beaten already. Okay. You just wasted $9.
Well, it's average is $30.
$30.
Yeah.
So okay, so everybody watching my screen, you guys see my screen?
Yeah.
So you have a lead. Basically, you have a lead that comes in, right? What does it have like withdrawn out L for lead, right? Okay, so like we got this lead. This lead just came into the system. I can't draw on here worth shit, so just stay with me. So basically, like what you want is you want like directly, like instantaneously, as soon as it webhooks, right? So as soon as you get the webhook into the CRM and it goes down here, like you immediately want what we call a confirmation message. So you just want a message that sends out, hey, this is such and such with company that you just filled out, like the company you just mentioned, right? That they just filled out the format. It's like as soon as they get done filling out that form, it's like boom, bam, the message sends immediately to their cell phone, the number that they just put in. Hey, this is such and such, I'm just calling you, or, I'm just reaching back out about the form you just filled out, you know what I mean? Or whatever it is that you want to say, like keep it relatively short, keep it relatively simple. I'm just following up with you about that offer you just requested on your property. I would love to speak with you a little bit more about it. When's a good time we could jump on the phone, right? If they don't answer within the first 3 hours, okay, then like if they don't respond to that message at all, okay, and usually they're going to respond within the first 1 to 2 hours typically, unless something's really going on. What I'll do is then they'll have it set up to where, the system will call them it'll call them twice, 2 calls, double dial, and then it'll leave a voicemail. Okay. And if they don't respond to that at all, then it just goes into a follow-up automation for verification to make sure this is the actual person that I'm talking to. So now we're not even in a situation to where it's actually asking them what it's actually like. We're not asking them anything about the property or the form anymore. We're just going, hey, is this Carol? Hey, Carol, this is Dan. I never heard back from you. Hey, Carol, I just want to make sure that I'm speaking to the property owner of such and such address, right? Hey, maybe this isn't Carol. Do I have the wrong number, right? And it'll do that, and it'll follow up with 5 times, right? And eventually somebody almost always respond within that timeline. If they don't, then it jumps over to a different follow-up system, and it throws them into now a follow-up system where it's like literally like spamming them with 2 text messages a day for 7 days, and literally just being like, hey, hey, is this such and such? Hey, I'm trying to get in touch with you. Hey, I'm trying to talk to you. Boom, 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 boom. And like, you don't it literally just spams them until they respond. But it's never anything after the point of like step 1 over here, after I'm sending the confirmation message, after I'm going into step 2, calling them twice, leaving them the voicemail. If they don't respond to that off the rip, right? Like they just filled out the Facebook form. They should be responding immediately to that text message if you send it instantaneously.
Yep.
If they're not, then that probably means that they're really not that interested. Maybe they just did it just to see if they could get an offer sent straight to their phone. And usually that's why I like to go off and I like to say, hey, I'm just following up with you about that offer you just requested on your house. Could I get on a phone call with you to discuss it a little bit more in detail? Right. And you're going to kind of really gauge their interest and their confirmation of that. Again, this is exactly why this is something that it's all going to be developed in the business blueprint product. And it's going to show you exactly how this is broken down step by step. You're going to get all these automations that I'm talking about specifically all broken down. But what I'm showing you is the framework of the basic system right here. And like, this is what eventually is going to create the infinite loop, which basically, doesn't really allow anybody to really, I don't know how you draw that. I don't know how you draw the infinite thing.
That was close.
I can't draw. Anyways, like, it's like an 8 or something like that.
Sideway 8. There you go.
Yeah, sideway 8. So like, but the point is like, it creates the infinite follow-up loop, right? To where it literally, if you get enough people filling out that form to the point where you could literally not get a lead filling out that form for days. Like I have so many leads plugged into follow-up systems at this point. Like if my lead inbound generation went dead for 5 weeks, I would still be getting in new leads every single day because we have more people coming in every single day right now off of follow-up campaigns than we do even off of inbound lead generation. So that shows you that like you have to have something in place. You have to have a framework in place that immediately reaches out to them, right? And if they're not being immediately reached out to, then you want to know exactly, if I'm talking to the person, if they're actually interested, I need to find a way to gauge their interest at some point somehow, so I can either put them into the correct system, put them into the correct pipeline, or I can toss them into the garbage. Like, I need to know because they're backing up my system either way. But I have to have something in place. If they're not getting consistently hit up with, then if there's not something that's immediately reaching out to them, right? If they're just filling out a form and somebody's calling them an hour later, right? They might not even be by their phone anymore. They just don't recognize the number. They just don't answer. They're just whatever. They totally forgot about that number that you just posted on your external website that shows them, hey, I'm going to be calling you from this number. Dude, they forgot. They forgot about that number. Like, they don't remember what that number is.
I mean, if you run Facebook ads and they click on one, they engage, they will see like tons of more cash offers.
So what they want is you want that immediate system. You want that immediate confirmation message sent out there immediately before you ever even get into, before you ever even shoot the call over. Because also the other thing is you don't want, if you start getting in a ton of leads and you really start hooking them in, you don't want your guy wasting his time calling people that may just be fucking around either. Like, and you know what I mean? Like, you don't want to get somebody that's on the phone that's just like dicking around, just, filled out the form just because they were bored sitting on their couch eating a bag of potato chips. Like, you want the person that actually would like to sell their house. So if I really am in a desperate situation, I fill out that form, I'm waiting for a text right away. I'm hoping that I get something. You know what I mean? I'm like, if I need money, I'm like, dude, like, I need this person to hit me back right away. I'm waiting to get that confirmation message.
No, yeah, thank you. That helps. I mean, I have like a system set up for like agent outreach, but I was like just starting and it was like a little bit half-assed. I mean, I have a system, it gives a notification, but no follow-up and confirmation. Yeah, that was like some of the things I was thinking.
You want a system like that's a waterfall, right? So you want like a waterfall effect. Like, you want a big, huge pool up here, and it kind of drips down to this one, and it kind of drips down to that one, and it kind of drips down to this one. It's like, and you want the like a guy with a big net catching all the stuff that doesn't fall through on each pool. It's not falling down to the next one, right?
Absolutely. So one follow-up question to this is, how long do you keep following up with them? I mean, at one point,
forever.
forever,
Until
so
they
they
say
never
stop.
like
Until
never
they
stops.
tell you to fuck off.
Until they die.
Okay,
Die or
thank you. That
die.
helps. Now I have actually another question. So you keep, I would assume, since you have your system style, then you keep all your leads in-house. You would never like sell leads or give someone else your leads to like monetize them.
I mean, if they're a lead and we can sell it, why would we give it to somebody else?
Mm.
You know what I mean? It wouldn't make sense for us because like that's our only revenue stream. It's like, I mean, like I'd sell you a shitty lead. You know what I mean? I don't think we can sell, but why would you want that? You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah. Gotcha. Thanks.
Hey, Dan, what do you think about, because you brought up the fact that you need to reply instantly, and most of them are just wanting a cash price, right? Wanting to find out what kind of price they can get. What if you can automate it so that they get an immediate reply, okay, that says something to the effect of, based on the information you gave us, here's the cash offer that we can give you, and base that cash offer on whatever Zillow is plus a little bit higher,
so we
that they
tried
get
that.
motivated to call you. Yeah.
So we tried that, and it ended up creating like false expectations for them, like immediately set up for the call, and like so a lot of times like they were like, when you really talked to them and then you really got into the actual condition of the property and you actually like talked it down with them, they were just like, the ones that actually called you back based off of the number that they saw on the screen. Because we had it in a system to where it was like when they filled out the form, we would be like, running the numbers and blah, 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 blah. And then it would come up and it would give them like an estimated value that would shoot out at them. And then they'd be like, well, the reason I was calling is because the system told me you guys could offer me 283. And if it ain't 283, you can go kick rocks. And I was like, well, I mean, the system is just basing it off of this. They're like, yeah, but that's the only reason that I called you, blah, 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 blah. So like it does draw more people in, but what I've noticed is that it has your acquisitions team spending more time talking to people who aren't as motivated as they should be for a reasonable price, because the only reason that they picked up the phone is because they wanted to sell for the price they saw on the screen, and that's unfortunately unrealistic for most people that filled out the form. So, but yeah, we tried that.
Got it. Cool. All right, Simon. Hope that helps.
Yeah, that really helps. Thank you so much.
You got it. Elisha, good morning.
Hey, good morning, everybody.
How you doing, brother?
Morning.
Doing great. Thanks for your help today. I have two situations today. I just want to bounce off you guys and see where I'm at. It's an owner finance situation and a pre-foreclosure situation.
Questions.
And so I'm in the owner finance situation where I got in contact with the owner of it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house in West Point, California. And it's on 40 acres, 2 powered water wells, active wells, and freshwater creek. And it's a beautiful property. And I actually got in contact with the owner. And when I called him directly, he went on about how pissed he was about the agent because it was listed. He thinks the agent listed it too high. So he was pissed off at the agent. His wife is in a situation where she doesn't like the property, wants him to sell it. And so anyway, in August, he's willing to sell it to me, owner finance, $400K, 40,000 down. And I just wanted to know, I haven't secured the whole 40,000, and so I'm looking, talking to looking for private money lenders.
Okay.
And so I just wanted to know, every investor I brought this property up to, says is a great deal. I have a couple people who, one willing to offer 20,000 and another 10,000. But what would, as if you guys were private money lenders or something like this, what would you be looking for as far as a private money lender from me? What would be a good deal for? What would that pitch look like? And what would you guys? How would you guys, look at that?
So are you looking for a private money lender to borrow on a long-term basis? Is that what you're trying to do? The
Just
40,000 the
cover-
year after. Is it for just that period of time that you close and then you're going to get it refinanced somehow and you're going to pay off the private money lender, or are they going to be holding it for up to a year or more? What's the plan? What's your strategy?
Looking for up to a year, just to give me that, that window of time. Looking to pay, of course, take care of it earlier than that. But
Okay.
for like a year.
Okay. So you're looking for a year and you're looking for 40,000 on a $400,000 property, and there aren't any other liens. Is that correct?
No, it's paid off, fully paid.
Okay. And so when it's seller financing, is the seller going to be in first position or second position?
Seller will be in first position.
So the private money lender will be in second position.
Yes.
Okay. All right. And what rates have you been thinking of giving to the private money lenders? What would make sense? What would the numbers have to look like for you to profit on it too, as well as the private money lender?
For me, I just ballpark is 10%.
10%? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there are private money lenders out there that will accept that. They might ask for a couple of points as well. Okay. But in general, private money lenders for 10%. Here's the main challenge that I would have as a private money lender. First of all, I don't lend on long term. I mean, 1 year is long term for me. The maximum I'll go is up to 3 months. But private money lenders will look at this as well. Sounds like it's in a rural area. Is it, or is it in a populated area?
Small town.
Small town?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And what does sales look like? Because here's how I'm looking at it. If Elisha, for whatever reason, doesn't pay, okay, and I need to come in and foreclose, can I recoup my money or not? Okay. And how long will that take for me to be able to recoup my money? Okay.
Got it.
Now, albeit it's only 40,000, okay, on a 400,000, even if I sell it at, well, no, I take that back because I'm in second position. First position, even if I foreclose on it, needs to be satisfied before I get my money. Okay. So I need to make sure that the values are correct. Okay. And that if for whatever reason I have to foreclose, I can get my money back. Okay, so those are the things that most private money lenders are looking at.
Yeah. Are you
The
getting
other
a
thing with-
discount at all?
I'm sorry.
Is there any equity on day one in that property,
Oh yeah.
percentage wise?
So percent looks like well, he had it listed for 449,000. Looks like when I did this estimate, got this ballpark estimate is like 422,000. But the comps in the area are much higher than that. So it looks like there's a little bit of equity, not a whole lot.
And your payoff strategy, your exit in that 1 year time is what? A refinance or a sale?
A refinance. Immediately, we're just doing a hold because I'm an Airbnb host, so just Airbnb in the house and or just renting the house just for the income, and then a refinance.
Yeah.
So when you run the numbers, do they add up? Will you be profitable after you pay off both the seller and the PML?
Yes.
Plus all the other costs and everything? Okay.
Yeah, looks real good.
Okay. Do you have in that year time? Do you have if you're going to refinance? Do you have a value that it's going to need to at least meet for that appraisal?
No, I haven't calculated that yet.
Yeah. I mean, if the numbers make sense, at 10%, I mean, it's not terrible.
No,
I was saying.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you will probably be able to find some PMLs for it. Okay.
Okay.
I guess your question, really going back to it, was how do you pitch this to them? You provide the facts. Okay. You put up a nice proposal together. Okay. And don't do it off the cuff. Okay. Be prepared. Okay.
Right.
And you just heard the types of questions that are running through a PML's mind.
Yeah, that's why I
Right?
really wanted to
So
dig
be
into
prepared to have the answers to those questions.
Yeah. Lay out their returns, lay out your time frame and what that time frame looks like. What will you be doing from the day of closing to the day of that 12-month down the road refinance? And what does that refinance look like? What is the proposed value at that point? And then lay out all the projected terms of the refinance and how you're going to be able to pay back the seller and the private money at that point.
Yes, sir. Well, thanks for that. I'll go ahead and get to work on that. And my second thing was, I was cleaning. I was kind of overseeing the cleaning for Airbnb property. I'm in Richmond, California, but and then I happened just to walk outside, and there was this foreclosure paper that just fell at my feet. It was just at my feet as I was picking up trash, and it was for a house just on the next block. It was recent, foreclosure, from a bank saying, "Hey, we can help you out." So I just went up to the house and I knocked on the door, and I saw there was the water shut off notice they just put on that day. So I looked and went on neighborhood, and I found the owner and called the owner. And so I left a message, and then she called me back, but I didn't realize it was her, calling me. I said, "Hey, who is this?" She said, "You called me." And I said, "Hey," and I said, "Oh, I just called Dolores." She said, "This is Dolores." And so I said, "Yeah, there's some paper that, some of your mail came down, flew down, to my house. The wind blew it down there." She's like, "Well," she had her defenses up at that time, right? And so she just had it. She was just in a mean way. She just said, "Just throw it away. Just throw it away." Right. And so 10 minutes later, I just called back. I said, "Ma'am, I just wanted to let you know the real reason why I was calling you and how I got your number." And I explained to her that, I was an investor and I run, different Airbnbs in the area and different short terms in the area. And that kind of let her guard down when we started talking. And she was like, "This must be a godsend because, the wind just blew my paper right to you." And she started going on about her, her property, how the backyard is nice and how she's trying to rent it and how so many, people are calling her, lowballing her, trying to offer her less money for the house. And she's not going for their, I guess it's worth 800,000 or something. People are offering her 600,000. She was going on about that. But, overall, at the end of the conversation, she's in Louisiana. She's going to come back next week. She wants to show me the place and hopefully, wants me to Airbnb it for her and to get some income out of it. But I'm really wanting to wholesale. I don't really want to Airbnb the place. And so this type of situation, what would you guys do in this situation?
So you want to wholesale it, but you've portrayed it as wanting to Airbnb it to her, and so she's excited about that?
Well, she actually went into, she wants to hope out, investors have been calling her, lowballing her for the place. And she went on herself how much money she said she thinks she can get out of renting it. And so it just kind of fell into, well, I do Airbnbs. I can earn money, run that for you. And so she got more excited about that.
Got it.
Then, yeah.
Well, I mean, if she wants to hold on to it and rent it and is excited about Airbnb, does she have the ability to catch up on the arrears if it's in foreclosure?
I was just going to say, she's in foreclosure, right? So isn't that's got to be step number one is figuring out the foreclosure and the arrear situation before she can Airbnb it out.
Like, what does she owe the bank to be current on the note?
It's in pre-foreclosure. I'm not sure if it's something you guys can look, give you the address so you can look at it, but she's in pre-foreclosure. I'm not sure of all the
give me the address.
You'll need to find out what she owes the bank to get current. And then your world's going to open up from that point. Is kind of why these guys are getting excited. I see these creatives guys, their brains starting to tick. Yeah, there's a lot of solutions you can offer.
1059 South 55th.
Sorry, what was that?
1059 South 55th Street, Richmond, California.
Got it. Let me share my screen real quickly. Oops.
And she's like, she's so tired of people calling her, lowballing her. She said, I know it's worth 800,000.
Then why didn't she sell it?
I don't. Yeah, that's the question, huh? I think she said something about keeping generational wealth in her family.
Well, how much generational wealth is she going to have once it gets foreclosed?
Yeah, once she loses the house.
Right.
Seriously.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Okay, so her auction is actually in 6 days from now.
Oh God!
Okay.
Wow.
July 17th. So as soon as you hang up on this, Elisha, I'd make that call and go, hey, I went on public records, I checked. You have an auction date of July 17th. Okay. Now,
Postponed.
property radar. Sorry?
It says postponed for bankruptcy.
Does it say that?
Yeah.
Oh, postponed for bankruptcy. Prior sale date was June 8th. So they gave her the same as always, anywhere between 30 to 45 days. So they've already given her. Now, if she's still in bankruptcy, if she's going through bankruptcy, yeah, this won't occur. Okay, on the 17th. But if she just filed to stop the foreclosure on June 8th, this date is valid. Okay?
Wow. Yeah, dang.
So that's the first thing you want to talk to her about. Say, hey, I noticed that there's a sale date of July 17th. Did you file for a bankruptcy back in June? Okay. Oh, you did. Okay. And are you planning on going through with that bankruptcy? Is that how you're planning on holding on to this? Or did you just file it just to stop the bankruptcy, the foreclosure?
It would surprise me if she filed it only to stop it, only because that's not like information that a regular person would usually have. But I mean,
yeah, but she might have gotten that from another.
Yeah, I was gonna say if she talked to an attorney or something.
Look, estimated value is 612. Okay.
Dang.
And
So she's like a.
She bought it for $200K.
She's a bit unrealistic, but it still doesn't mean you can't solve the problems. You've just got to make sure it doesn't go to the block.
Yeah, exactly.
Look at that California appreciation. Purchase price $100,000, 2000.
Right, you like it?
Estimated value 612, 2023.
I'm telling you, you buy here for appreciation, not for cash flow.
Oh boy.
Yep. 3-bedroom, 1.5, 1,200 square feet.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't know if you look at the Google Street View of it, but it is
a beauty.
Yeah, she's a beauty.
All right. So, if you want to wholesale it, okay, you basically have two options, Elisha. You either have to put it under contract at a price where, I mean, she's telling you that other wholesalers are coming in at 600. So, you want to find out what. Let's go to. Let's just go to PropWire real quickly.
And also, like Bob was saying too, if she does confirm the bankruptcy is true, try to see if she's doing it. Is the house the only reason that she's gonna go through with the bankruptcy because she's in so much arrears, or are there other factors in her life as well that she's in debt on and whatever, and she's trying to clean out everything? If it's just the house, then you have far more leverage to get a deal done because you could potentially solve an issue here if you guys can come to terms on this house.
So PropWire is saying that the estimated loan balance. Well, why are we dilly-dallying? It's 205,000.
Yeah, PropStream.
Published bid is 255.
PropStream says 198, basically.
So same thing. 200, 494. And you got that. But here's the published bid. So that includes all foreclosure fees, attorney fees, penalties, everything. Okay, that's what they need to get, or close to this. Okay. So
What number
anything
is that? I
above
can't-
this, 255,714.
Okay. Dang.
Okay. Now, we don't know how much she's in arrears. Okay. So this sounds like a great sub 2. Okay. What if you go in, she's been getting offers of 600. What if you offer her more? 650. Okay. But I mean, obviously you want to do your due diligence and find out what the ARV is, what kind of condition the house is in. It has, or I'll put that in quotations. It has a beautiful backyard, but the water was shut off. So it had a beautiful backyard, probably. It hasn't been watered or anything. Okay. So it might need a lot of work. So you need to, I would go do a walkthrough with her, okay, before giving her any numbers, just to see what kind of condition the house is in. Okay.
Right.
And then I would do I'd submit 2 different offers, cash offer and a sub 2 offer. Okay. What if you came in and caught up on all the arrears? Okay. Let's say if the arrears are 20,000, 30,000, somewhere around there. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever that amount is. What if you caught up on the arrears and started making the monthly payments? Okay. And then for her equity, you'd give her a down payment and start making monthly payments to her as well, so long as it cash flows.
Mm-hmm.
And you can just break it down for her and show it to her on a spreadsheet.
Yeah, you definitely want to use that walkthrough, that in-person walkthrough, to your benefit, because no one else that's been calling her likely is going to be given that opportunity, or hasn't been up until this point. So you can really dive into what is going on that back end, what caused this to happen, and what solutions you could potentially bring. Have all of those estimated values already ready to go in your head, or bring it printed out, whatever you need to do, comps. So that way, if she starts talking a certain way, you can show her comps, you can show her estimated value, and then try to provide her solutions. And then also too, like Bob was saying, like, water's been shut off. So when you guys walk in that backyard, if it's beat up, make sure you're addressing things that are wrong with the house, not in a defensive way, but just pointing it out and saying, oh yeah, that's, so we're all staying aware of like what this is going to cost in order to get it to that value that you think it's worth.
Yeah.
Matt, did you see that loan?
I did see that loan, yeah. 2.8.
Jesus.
Yeah. To me, I was like, man, is this assumable? Or is there like
I don't want to I want to take it over.
Yeah.
Or some sort of any type of play on that. You could even own or finance it to have it, whatever you wanted to do. But yeah, there's a lot of plays
right now.
You want to do that, Elisha?
I say call her right
Sure. Jack, yeah, no problem. Yeah.
So what
Call
would
her
he
up.
be calling what would he be calling her to do, John?
Yeah.
Get the arrear information. He needs to get the loan payoff information. He needs to understand what is the situation. We see that it's estimated at 2% interest. We need to know, is that legit? We need to get our information. We need to KYS. We need to know your shit. We need to know our shit about this deal.
The thing that I'm thinking about is, because she's already kind of complained and addressed to you that she's sick of all the phone calls and things. So just let her know that you're looking forward to meeting her at whatever time she's coming in. And because you want to treat her time respectfully, any information that you can gather up front would be great. So when you guys do meet, you can address any questions and things like that you have in place. And so some of that information that would be useful is like any arrears information and all of those things. So you can run your numbers and be able to have an educated conversation when you guys do meet in person.
And also let her know that her property is about to get auctioned off on what? You said the 17th? What was the day?
So can you?
17th, yeah.
17th, yeah. You gotta let her know these things. The time is of the essence.
And so her vision of renting it is not realistic at this point.
I don't see how she can rent. I mean, she can rent it if she wants, and she'll just collect money until they foreclose on her house. And so that's pretty much what would take place. She needs to catch up and get out of that foreclosure.
Yeah, the rent money would ultimately end up going to whoever buys it at auction.
Well, or if she's going to go through with the bankruptcy, You know, how much will she
Right.
have to pay?
Yeah.
What type of bankruptcy is it going to be? More than likely, it's a Chapter 13 where she needs to catch up, right? So she's going to go on a payment plan. How much is that payment plan, and will she be able to rent it and make that money, or is she going to come out of pocket still? And if so, will that be worth it for her or not? So Faro asks, what happens if she goes through with the bankruptcy? How much more time does that buy her? Well, if she's just filing the bankruptcy, Faro, she gets anywhere between 30 to 45 days normally. Okay, sometimes it can be canceled indefinitely, but on average, it's anywhere between 30 to 45 days, depending on how aggressive the lender is. Okay, but if she does go through with it, okay, then she has to go through the entire process. She has to submit all her paperwork, all her documents to the court. A court will appoint a trustee for the case, and that trustee will take a look at all her assets, all her liabilities, and decide how much and who will get how much every month. And then she's on a payment plan then. So then she has to go through it. Normally it's 3 years, okay? But if she pays them all off before, she can end the bankruptcy as quickly as possible.
Oh,
So-
so her out will be bankruptcy. Yeah.
I
If
gotta
she goes
imagine
through it.
she's 20 to 30 grand in arrears at least.
Yeah, I think
Plus
so.
any outside debt, it's
At
gonna
least.
that 3-year payment is gonna be high, and it'll probably be higher than what it could rent for.
Right.
Okay. So her best option would be the subject to or owner finance this deal here.
Yeah, it's not owner finance, it's a subject to. It's a
Sub to.
hybrid.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sub to, and then
Subject
seller
to.
financing her equity.
Her equity.
Okay. And so the subject to I could wholesale that course to someone, right? I can just wholesale
Absolutely.
that to
Absolutely.
go on
Yep.
the contract.
It's just like anything else.
And you
You're,
guys-
you're creating terms with that seller and then wholesaling
Uh-huh.
those terms to an end buyer. You're wholesaling that contract that has those terms in it to an end buyer the same way that you would with a cash offer.
Got it. All right.
Okay.
I'm getting off the phone and I'm gonna do some, these comps and everything, get the information and give her a call in the next hour.
Yeah, if don't give her too much information. Just tell her what you found out about the bankruptcy and the foreclosure date. Okay. The auction date, excuse me, coming up next week, next Monday, Tuesday,
Damn.
right? And
Yeah.
so she needs to tell you,
And-
hey, is she going to go through the bankruptcy or not? And if not, what's her plan going to be at that point? Because she's got to make some decisions right now.
Yeah, and I almost wouldn't even have the comp conversation when you call her. The whole
Yeah.
purpose of that call is to
Mhm.
let her know, like Bob said, that when you looked at the property, you're seeing that there's a bankruptcy in place, that her auction date is next week. And so you just want to collect any background information that you can so you can run your numbers quickly, and then ask her basically, what is your plan here in the next week? Are you aware that it's next week? And are you going through with this bankruptcy? And then if you can collect that arrears information and anything else additional on top of that.
And then, yeah.
Are you meeting with her in person before the 17th?
She said she'll be here next week.
Too
And
late.
she would call me and meet. We don't have a date. So so this has to happen this week. Right.
So you got to call her and let her know that you see that date. Is she aware of that date? If so, then you guys are going to have to push that in-person meeting to as quickly as possible, or try to take care of everything over a phone call, over the next few days.
Got it. Man, thanks guys. I appreciate all this information, man.
You got it. Let us know how it goes. If you need any help, reach out.
I will definitely.
Cool.
How do I reach out outside of this? I guess tomorrow morning. I guess.
Elisha, you've been working with me and my partner, Lonza.
Oh
You said-
yeah.
Come on now.
Come on,
I
man.
realize it's the same person. Okay, I got it.
Bob Sadai
Like
went a
with
little.
Jeff and
Bob
yeah,
Sadai
Jeff
went a
and
little Uncle G right there for a second.
Yes, sir.
I know how you love that so much, Dan. That's why I bring it up for you.
Come on, man.
Thanks, guys.
You got it.
right.
It is 9:50. I got a Zoom meeting at 10 o'clock in 10 minutes. So we can answer Joshua and then I got to take off, or Joshua, just jump on and let's hear it. What's going on, brother?
Yeah, man, I'll be concise. So, hope everyone's doing well. Thank you for taking the time. And
Sure.
yeah, I got a deal closing. Some things are going good. Got my first employee started. A lot of things going in the right direction.
Nice.
I did have this deal in Garfield Heights in Cleveland that started going south. And basically what had happened is we finally got the buyer, the seller was on board, got it originally under contract May 15th. Closing date was supposed to be June 30th. That didn't happen. Seller was completely fine until I asked for the extension. And then I thought we could get it done by July 7th because the buyer had cash, whatnot. Well, apparently in Garfield Heights, there's a POS, the proof of inspection or whatnot.
Point of sales.
And so we paid for that. We got that filled out. That was earlier. But then the last day of closing, we were supposed to close on July 7th. The title company who, doesn't do deals in Garfield Heights says, hey, the city needs some additional paperwork to do the transfer. We're not going to be able to close today. So, yeah, now the seller's all ticked. She tried apparently leveraging herself to be able to buy a restaurant. And she is pretty upset that the funds, haven't gone through. And so we still got the buyer on board. They signed an extension on the OTP, but now I got the seller basically going away. On top of that, I got like 4 people in this deal. Like my other person I know in Cleveland is in it. I got my transaction coordinator, communicating, and then it's just starting to get mixed up. But really the only thing I could think of to do, because she's not really trusting me or the person I had in Cleveland as much anymore, because we kept having, hey, we got to push this thing back, whatever, get this additional paperwork. This is from the city. We didn't know that they needed this additional paperwork. So the only thing I could think of was having the title company reach out to her directly and giving her reassurance. But also it looks like this deal might not be able to come to fruition. So I just want to know, do you guys have any insight? Have you dealt with something like this?
What's your spread on it, Joshua?
I don't even want to say it, man. It's a peanut of a peanut.
Too bad.
Yeah. It's,
normally if there's a large enough spread, and that's why we don't go for peanuts. Okay.
Yeah.
We go for steaks and lobsters. Okay. Mm-hmm. So if there's enough of a spread, what you can do sometimes works is go to the seller and go, look, man, it's not our fault. We understand your situation. You're leveraged, and I feel so bad. But as you can see, it's title's fault. Okay. But I want to make this up to you. I'm willing to increase my sales price to you for if you give us an extension of a week or 2. But in this case, it's peanuts. You want to work for free?
Yeah, that wouldn't be possible.
Yeah. So that's one way of doing it. The other way would be, like you said, obviously you want title to be contacting them and letting them know that, hey, it's not Joshua's fault. We weren't aware of this. And this is exactly why you want to use a title and escrow company that is local. Okay. I mean, if you're working with a national company that deals with local escrow companies, like I know Alltech does that. Okay. Alltech is national. Okay. But they will work with local title companies, or escrow companies that know the rules of that locality. Okay. Locale. Okay. So, yeah, I would have title company reach out to her and explain it to them, okay, and see if that helps. If she's really upset and is leveraged because of the business that she's involved in, it might work, it might not work.
Josh, are you guys good on, like, is everything on your side good, ready to go? You're not waiting on a single thing on your side, you're only waiting on title and the city?
So yeah, the buyer signed that extension on the OTP for the 20 on or before the 21st. Where we're at is the seller has not signed the extension of the purchase agreement, but she still thinks that she's in there. Like we have to send a cancellation or whatnot. But yeah, really having the title company call, I think, would validate things a lot. But yeah, I mean, at this point, I think that's really and that's good to know. That is a good idea to go back and offer. But yeah, this deal, it's not possible at all. Very tight with all the parties involved and whatnot. So Yeah, really, the title company. That's
I can
it.
negotiate with a title company. Tell them, look, man, you're messing this up. Would you rather lose and make nothing, or reduce your fees a little bit so I have some room? Okay.
Let the title company know that this deal's about to fall apart because of this last second request for documents, whether they knew about it or not, but it's a last second request that you have nothing to do with. You guys are ready to go on your side. Seller's ready to go. Let them know, and then hopefully try to put it on them to go reach out to the seller and let them know what they're waiting on, and that it has nothing to do with any parties besides the city and the title company. And as soon as this issue is settled, we are closing.
And anything that you can get a discount on, pass it on to the seller.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
I'm texting my TC that right now.
Yeah, I would do like a side email with the title company. Let them know what's going on. Let them know the seller's frustration that this deal is about to fall apart. Is there anywhere on that HUD on the closing statement that where savings can be shaved off to save this deal? And then let them know I would love to pass that along to the seller to keep them in this deal. Is there anywhere where you can find savings that we can pass along to the seller, and then also address the issues with the seller to let them know that it's not our fault and it's no party's fault besides the city, and the title company is working on it as fast as they can. And that this is something they're going to, whether they cancel the deal and go with a new buyer, this is something they're going to have to deal with no matter what. It's not a buyer issue.
Yeah.
It's the city
Huge.
issue. So it's not going to matter if they go to someone else. It's going to happen with them too. So might as well, you've already been in it for this long. Let's close this thing out. And if we can compensate you in some sort of way, that's the way to the finish line. And then just, if you talk to the seller or you have communication with that side too, just, come from a place where you're understanding their frustration. Like, hey, we completely understand. We're absolutely frustrated as well on our side. We can't even imagine the frustration on your side. I'm working with the title company to try to find some savings to see if maybe we can pass something along to you. And that, but title is absolutely working on it, and they're supposed to reach out to you to let you know what's going on their side, and that they're working on a resolution as well.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. I think she's the most frustrated about. She's saying, we should have knew about this additional paperwork even after we filed for the POS, and the city went out there. And then again, I'm like, well, this title company hasn't done deals in Garfield Heights, like. So that's definitely something I'll know for the future too, to make sure that there's.
Who chose title?
We did.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, this is a title company we work with, all the time, and they're good and very investor friendly and stuff. But
Perfect. I'd lean on them. If you've been working with them and have been bringing them business, say, hey, man, I want to continue doing business with you, but we can't do it this way, and you got to help me out on this one. So cut it as much as you possibly can, pass that savings to the seller, and we'll make it up to you next time.
Yeah, I'm about to call. Screw the TC. I'm about to call the lady I know over there myself.
Yeah, don't leave it to the TC, because TC is just going to send an informal email that's just strictly exactly what you say, and there's going to be no incentive or no urgency behind it in that regard. Like, you're the best. It's your money, your deal. So you're the best person to make that phone call to the title company. And again, if you've done business with them, like Bob said, lean into that. If you were a first timer using this title company, they don't know you from Adam, then it's going to be tough to do. And you can promise them another deal. But if you've done deals with them, and this is strictly some last second item that they pulled out of their ass from the city, and whether they knew about it or not, or they should have known about it or not, lean on that, and that this deal will fall apart if we can't find this person something to stay, keep them in the deal. And I'm sure that they'll be able to find something, whether it's a couple $100, something.
Now go tantalize them.
Yeah,
There you go. Awesome.
Yeah, that's
Had
good.
to throw that in. We got to start and end it with that.
Full
There you go.
circle.
Tantalization. Well, hey, look, guys, I appreciate it. I know you guys got to get going and stuff, and I'll let you know how it goes. I'll put it in the chat somewhere, but that's a good idea. Yeah, next time something like this, I'm gonna see if I can offer something off the agreement. You know what I mean? Like lower the price a little bit.
You got it. And don't sound like, don't sound so surprised that we come up with good ideas.
Yeah. Seriously.
What the heck?
Real estate geniuses. So thank you guys. I'll let you know how it goes. Real estate friends, geniuses. I appreciate it. I'll talk to you.
We gotta go.
Take care.
It's been a good day. Have a great day, everyone. Go grind, and we'll talk to you guys all tomorrow. Take care. Bye.
Peace.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't already, please consider inviting somebody you think would benefit from being in proximity with these geniuses up here. Send them that link. Discord.gg/REI Rev.
Genius.